Hello, welcome back my body language buddies. Today in episode 42, the big question is, why is such a bad idea to go back to your ex, but maybe, just maybe it could work for Bennifer Part 2. And to solve this riddle, we will understand the reasons why they broke up in the first place, how was their chemistry back then, and how 17 years, 2 marriages and 5 children between them later could make the difference. Remember that I've got a gift for you, my 100 body language tips in a free PDF that you can find right in the description. And thank you for supporting my channel. All you have to do is like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my body language episodes and tips. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and together we'll uncover the secrets that people try to hide from us. Just weeks after breaking up with A-Rod, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck were seen in Beverly Hills and heading out to Montana. There's rumors and gossip if this is just being friends or are they planning to go back together. Of course, the first question that comes to mind is why did they broke up in the first place? And even if this might seem like an invasion of their privacy, since they have the right to not disclose anything about what happened, it's relevant so we can learn about both body language clues and especially behavior patterns that could help us make better decisions in our own relationships. The story started with the movie Gigli, a romantic comedy that intended to capitalize the rising popularity of both of them. Even the director of A Scent of a Woman was on board. But little did they know that the very same movie that brought them together would also, ironically, be the biggest reason that their relationship fell apart. Back in 2002, they were one of the biggest A-list power couples and the tabloids just couldn't get enough of them. He was an Oscar-winning screenwriter and actor, and she was an established entertainer as a talented dancer, singer, and actress. When you watch the interview of Jennifer talking about their engagement, you can get a few body language signals.
So is Ben the one? Getting married? Are you getting married?
Damn, the cameras are on. Can we talk later? I want to talk later.
She looks a bit ashamed. She doesn't really want to talk much about the topic, and it's obvious that she wanted to go slower with the media, even if she was comfortable talking to Diane Sawyer. Now, Jen had been married twice before, but it's clear that she wanted this time to be special. Look the way she talks about the wedding plans.
We want to do it, but there's no rush at the same time. It's something that we would like to do as soon as possible, but we'll take our time and we'll plan it right, and we'll do it where it's good for all of our families, and where it'll be a really big celebration because I just want to do it right.
So there was some anxiety about it. She wanted to marry in a church this time, and her facial expressions confirmed that she wanted this to be a great celebration with her family. This means that she really believed that Ben was the one. Also, look at the way she looks down and presses her lips while saying that she wants to do it right this time. That's a signal of being really important to her. Now, that engagement official period was so fast and they both were so busy that it was not easy to find videos together, but this one stands out.
Yeah, I'm very happy, and she's great, and as all you can see, what an incredible, wonderful talent, and what a wonderful woman in person. So I was just here as a fan and very excited, and I had a wonderful time.
So what are the future plans? When are you two getting hitched?
We don't know yet.
I'm sure we'll do it on the Today Show, however.
Promise?
Yeah,
No, I'm going to hold you to that.
He flatters her, he wants people to understand that he's her biggest fan, and she feels really great about it. She's also a bit restless, showing excitement of being there with him and talking about the plans. Again, when they are asked about a date, she talks first and says there's no date yet. That's another signal that she wanted to do things slowly and the right way. Ben just jokes and evades the question. He also wants to remain private. One of the reasons there was so much coverage from the tabloids is that the media had already made up their mind about them. Remember that Diane Sawyer interview? Well, listen how she introduced them.
But can this really be? After all, they're completely different people. Or so it seems. She, the racy, impetuous pop star with that flashy ex-boyfriend, not to mention 2 marriages. He, the towering actor who romanced an uptown goddess. the brainy guy who grew up in the working class part of Boston. Affleck and Lopez.
That's the way they were painted, and notice how she stressed the fact about their prior relationships. By the way, I can't imagine what could have happened if Puff Daddy got engaged with Gwyneth Paltrow. What would their couple nickname be? Puffnet? Paltry? Witty? That's how we have a clue why the media was so brutal with them, picking them apart and following their every move, and not in a good way. That was a lot of pressure. There's another interesting video of Ben on January 2003. There was this show with Jon Favreau where he invited actors and directors to have dinner and talk about movies and the industry. And this time he had invited his co-stars from the movie Daredevil, and it included both Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck. Now I'm sure you already know that Ben and Jennifer got married 2 years later, but at that time she was still married to Scott Foley and Ben was engaged with J-Lo. Even so, it's interesting to watch her attitude towards Ben. For example, at one point he's talking about having a big forehead and she slaps herself in the head as saying, "Hey, I have a big forehead too," and smiles broadly at him. Also, she shows signals that are not always flirting, but as usual, body language reading requires that you add or subtract clues to reach a conclusion, and in this case, it's clear that she was glad of being there with him. At one moment, Jennifer is thankful of not having had to go through auditions to get the role of Elektra in that movie, and that was mainly because of Ben. And you can see her sparkling eyes, her tilted head, and she was really thankful for that opportunity. But the best image of all is when Ben is telling the story about him and Matt Damon going to the Oscars. You spot in Jennifer an absolutely genuine look of liking someone, of being, we could say, attracted to him. Not to mention the time she used her hands to present her face. All those are signals of attraction that usually get unnoticed, and yes, Ben didn't reply with any clue that he was getting her message. And this is something that happens a lot, that we men don't get the signals that women give away when they like us, and in turn, women would like men to be more direct about what we feel. Gigli was premiered in July and their wedding was scheduled for September. Sadly, the movie was a total mess, and I'm no screenplay specialist, but I think the main problem is that the producers were not sure about who was the target audience, and that's another case study for human behavior. Like, this is a romantic comedy that appeals to female audiences, but at the same time the plot wants to be serious and sardonic. The atmosphere was a mix of everything, and J-Lo's clout did not work because her fans were mostly young girls, and both the rating and the screenplay did not help. The media absolutely destroyed them, especially Ben and Jennifer. It was a huge blow to their careers and really difficult to recover from. But it's not like a movie flop is going to harm a couple's relationship, right? Like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie in By the Sea. No, wait. Bad example, but you get the idea. They had already shared the screen on a second flick, Jersey Girl. It had been filmed but hadn't been released yet. Even if J-Lo was not the protagonist, her character was fundamental to the plot. I'm sure you'll notice that despite all the previous publicity about them being in another movie, there's something missing from the movie poster. I always mention that being an artist in a so competitive industry like Hollywood draws a huge amount of pressure and stress, and given all the effort and time invested in any production, it can create a domino effect in later contracts. Basically, one flop can lead to another, and by a chain reaction, the industry deletes you like Brendan Fraser. They were attacked not only professionally but personally, and I won't be surprised that even got to the point of thinking, hey, this didn't work professionally, what if it doesn't work sentimentally too? That's something that can eat into your self-worth and your perception as a couple. That second guessing of the relationship and the fact that they had absolutely no chance of slowing down with their projects and contracts was the tip of the iceberg. That's why they called it quits at the start of 2004. The pressure of the media over the relationship subsided and it gave them enough room to breathe. J-Lo ended up marrying her longtime friend Mark Anthony, and Ben got married to Jennifer Garner. Now, all this could sound like show business drama, but it's a great lesson that we can apply to ourselves in the way that we look at ourselves as professionals and sentimental partners. Failure in any area of our lives always creeps into other departments. It's extremely hard to compartmentalize, and it gets exponentially harder if you're under tight public scrutiny and have the responsibility to deliver no matter what. That's why one of the most important exercises of self-worth is to constantly remind you that your professional performance it's not related to your inner value. You can see, for example, in this clip from the Graham Norton show in 2010 that Bennifer still finds it hard to talk about the Bennifer thing.
Honestly, I've never really talked about it before, and, I love Ben, he's a great guy, but it was a lot for both of us to be under that type of siege for 2 years straight. It was like we were on the cover of every magazine every week, and it was just, I don't know, it was just a weird thing that, media catches on to certain things and they just go crazy with it, and that just happened to be one of the things. And
there's some head nodding as she's trying to elicit a response of nodding in those around her to look for some empathy about what she's saying. She fiddles with her fingers, which is a common gesture of nervousness, and also she points at the media for all the Bennifer fallout, but at the same time makes it clear that she can't blame it all on the media because it's been also a means to her success. So you can see that years down the road she still had a dissonance of what could have been. It was a bit harder to find examples of Ben talking about his relationship with Bennifer, and I guess that as he always says pretty much the same about her, then maybe he warns interviewers about not touching the subject. It's like you ask him, "Hey Ben, are you dating J-Lo again?"
Do you bleed?
Oh no, well, never mind. What does he say every time? That she is an amazing woman and impressive professional, and he could never stand the way that the media depicted her in the relationship, like the Diane Sawyer descriptions. That's something that upset him a lot. More recently, he gave this interview where he says he's glad to know that after all these years she has won the recognition and the status she deserved for all her hard work. Even back in those Bennifer days, he wanted to make it absolutely clear, and he paid advertisements in the media just to publish an open letter to the public, praising her as a professional and as a human being. So through the years, it has been the same narrative from Ben's side, respecting and admiring her. Now, not every breakup is friendly, and most of them are just messy. When it comes to breaking up and making it stick, the absolute best action is the no contact rule. You don't call, text, or message an ex in any way after the breakup. It includes not talking to their friends or family about them or the breakup itself. Every breakup instills grief, but the no contact rule can help you transform it, which is what you want to do. Yes, it can be really hard to block your ex phone number, Snapchat, Instagram, along with every relative or friend, but it's worth it. Taking the hard first step of going no contact can help you get over a breakup faster than if you let it eventually spill into the tricky we're friends, or worse yet, friends with benefits category. If you don't give yourself the space to understand what happened, you will just be repeating the same dysfunctional patterns that originally led to the breakup. There is no set timeline. Do it for as long as you need to heal completely. Now, why do I think that Ben and Bennifer going back could work this time? Well, 17 years and growing their families can be a huge step towards emotional maturity. It also helps you have a better understanding of what do you want in your life and who do you want to spend your life with. One of the strongest reasons the original split back in 2004 was the media, but since then they both have remained current in the top of mind of show business, even with social media scrutiny. That's no easy feat. It's logical that they have developed thicker skin, and most probably, just to be sure, they might not be collaborating in professional endeavors, and that's fine. I think that this time could work because they're in a vastly different time of their lives, and their original breakup was due mostly to external pressure. Also, friends like Matt Damon are happy to see them together, so that helps a lot too. Having said that, there needs to be a warning about this being the exception to a very important rule about getting back to your ex. People don't change from one week to another or even 1 year to another. It's extremely easy to repeat the same behaviors because you feel safe in a relationship just because you're used to be with that person. There is no general rule. For example, there's Kate and William that broke up and came back together 2 months later. Coming back together was no easy decision, and so far it seems that it was the right one, but not without all the pain of a public breakup. By the way, I'll be doing an episode on that 2-month breakup to analyze why it worked. No matter what, the most important thing during those times is keep your body active and your mind busy. That is something that will help you process your feelings better and be able to assess what really happened. One more thing.
Just do me one favor though. As far as the lesbian thing goes,
Yeah.
if you do ever think about hopping the fence, promise you give me a call first.
Remember that I've got a gift for you, my 100 body language tips in a single free PDF that you can download right in the description. And don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my body language episodes and tips. See you next time!